The Secret Garden, adapted for English language learners at Level A2 by Story Steps. Chapter 2. The Locked Door. The next morning Mary woke up early. The wind was still blowing. She lay in bed listening to it as it moved around the house and pressed against the windows. It did not sound frightening now. It was just very big and very steady, almost peaceful. Martha came in with breakfast and put more wood on the fire. She began talking in her cheerful way, as if she had known Mary for years. Mary found this annoying, yet something about Martha was interesting. Her cheerfulness seemed real, not forced. "The wind always blows like this up here on the moors," Martha said. She pushed back the curtains, and grey morning light came in, showing the gardens below. "In winter it is very strong, but you get used to it truly. I lived here all my life. I love it." "It sounds dreadful," said Mary, "like something is in pain." "Oh no, miss, it is just the wind. It does not mean anything. If you wait for the warmer weather, you will hear birds in it. It will sound quite different, very free-like. The birds will sing in the wind." Mary ate her porridge and thought about this. She had never considered how the wind sounded different in different seasons, or that it might carry birdsong with it. She looked around the room. It was simpler than her rooms in India, with no decorations or luxury, but it was not uncomfortable. The fire burned brightly, and the rug on the floor was warm. There was a small window that looked out over a stretch of garden with the open moors beyond it, stretching away to the horizon. "Martha," she said at last, "why are so many doors in this house locked?" Martha stopped what she was doing. Her cheerful face became more careful, and she did not meet Mary's eyes. "Mr. Craven had them locked. He does not want anyone going into those rooms." "What is in them?" "Old furniture, old things, things he does not want touched." Martha paused, choosing her words carefully. "He is a sad man, Mr. Craven, very sad. People in the village say he was quite different before. His wife was alive and he was younger. He used to laugh and smile. She died and he changed completely. He locked up half the house. He started travelling, always moving and never staying anywhere long." "How did his wife die?" "She had an accident in the garden. She fell from a high place. It was a terrible thing. They married only a short time before, and he loved her very much, more than anything in the world." Martha was quiet for a moment, looking out the window. "He does not like to stay in this house. Everything here reminds him of her. The garden, the rooms, the views from the windows. All of it brings back memories of her." "Did they have any children?" Martha looked uncomfortable. She picked up the breakfast tray and turned slightly away from Mary, busying herself with straightening things on the dresser. "He has a son, Master Colin." She stopped, choosing her words with care. "But what?" Mary pressed. "It is not really my place to say, miss. You will discover more in time, I expect. Now, I thought you might like to go outside this morning. The air will do you good. It will make your cheeks pink. The gardens are worth seeing." Mary saw that Martha was not going to say more about Colin, and she felt a flicker of curiosity about this mysterious son. She put on her coat and her boots and went outside into the fresh morning. The air hit her face like cold water. It was sharp and clean, very different from the hot, heavy air she had always known. It was almost shocking compared to the climate of India. Mary stood on the path and breathed it in deeply, filling her lungs. The grounds of Misselthwaite Manor were large and stretched in many directions. There were kitchen gardens of bare vegetable beds, and rose gardens of bare rose stems waiting for spring to bring them to life. Paths ran between old stone walls, winding through the grounds. Everything was brown and grey and waiting for spring to return. There was a quiet beauty in it all, Mary thought as she walked slowly. She walked along the main path and looked carefully at everything around her. She found she was curious about the garden, something she had never expected to feel. She wanted to know how things looked in summer, when they were green and alive, and whether the plants here could survive the cold wind and dark winters. She turned along a path beside a long wall that rose up in front of her. The wall was very old and made of dark stone, weathered by centuries of wind and rain. Ivy covered almost all of it, growing thick and wild and untended for many years. It completely covered the stone beneath, hiding whatever lay underneath. Mary walked the whole length of the ivy wall carefully and looked very closely. There was no door anywhere that she could see. She came back and walked it again more slowly, watching for any break in the ivy, any sign of an opening. No door appeared. She pressed the ivy with her hands and felt only solid stone behind it. She found the gardener near the kitchen garden, digging at the hard winter soil with strong, practised movements. He was an old man, bent and thin, with a weathered red face and large, strong hands that showed a lifetime of work. He looked at Mary with suspicious eyes that were both sharp and kind. "You must be the new one," he said gruffly, not stopping his work. "The girl from India?" "Yes, I am Mary Lennox." He went back to his digging, pushing the spade deep into the frozen earth. Mary stood watching him work. She was not a patient person by nature, but something about Ben Weatherstaff interested her. He clearly did not care whether she was there or whether she watched him. This was very different from India, where servants watched for any sign of her wishes. "What is behind the long wall covered in ivy?" she asked after a moment. "On the east side, the one with no door." Ben Weatherstaff stopped digging. He straightened up slowly and looked at Mary more carefully this time, studying her face as if making a decision. "A garden," he said slowly. "It was Mrs. Craven's garden. She loved it above all things. She planted it herself and spent hours in it every day tending to it. When she died, Mr. Craven locked it up. He said he never wanted anyone to go in there again. 10 years have passed. No one has entered since." "Where is the door? I walked the whole wall. I did not find it." "Someone filled it in with bricks. They let the ivy grow over it. There is no way in now. Mr. Craven made certain of it. He wanted to keep the world out of that garden." He turned away and began digging again, and his body language made it clear he did not want to talk any more about this forbidden place. Mary walked back along the ivy wall slowly, her mind full of questions. She was thinking hard about Ben's words. A garden no one had entered for 10 years. A garden growing and changing on its own, with no one to care for it, no one to tend its flowers or prune its trees. She wondered how it looked inside, and whether all the things in it were dead or somehow still alive. She was walking with her hand on the ivy, feeling its roughness beneath her fingers, when she heard something clear and sweet. She stopped immediately. It was a bird singing, a short, bubbling, cheerful song that seemed to shine in the grey morning. It was very close by. She looked up. A small robin was sitting on top of the wall above her head. It had a round red breast and small bright black eyes that looked directly at her. It tilted its head sideways and looked at her with what seemed like curiosity, and it sang again, the notes clear and beautiful. "Oh," said Mary softly. She had never paid much attention to birds before in her life. This one was looking at her like it knew her, like it recognized something in her. Its song was cheerful, bright enough to make something shift in her chest, a small, unfamiliar warmth spreading through her. She stood perfectly still, barely breathing. She did not want to frighten it away. The robin stayed for a full minute, looking at her and singing. It flew up and over the ivy wall into the locked garden on the other side, disappearing from sight. Mary watched where it had gone for a long moment, her hand still pressed against the wall. "You can go in there," she said quietly to the empty air. "I am going to go in too. I will find a way." She did not find the door that first day or the next day, but she was determined. She was going to find it. She had decided completely.